Lindström here with us. I'd like to thank the Pudawood Center and Professor Rangshai Gunn for making this program take place in Los Angeles, and we're happy through their kindness to have Professor Lindström here as well. To make the proper introduction, I ask Professor Matt Canepa, my colleague, to introduce today's speaker.
Okay. Thank you, Touraj. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Gunvor Lindström, who I've known for many years now, I think, since 2007. In Berlin, I think, was the first time that we had the pleasure to opportunity to work together. So let me just, I'm not going to do an extensive introduction, but I just want to underscore that Dr. Lindström's work has been pivotal in developing the broader field of the archaeology of Hellenistic Iran and the Hellenistic Far East. So she's a classical archaeologist originally by training, but has worked primarily, at least as far as I know, her work on Mesopotamia, Iran, and Bactria. She completed her dissertation on seals and sealings from Hellenistic Uruk at the Freie Universität Berlin, and has spent most of her academic career at the German Archaeological Institute. She's worked on a number of high-profile projects, both excavation and archival work. She discovered and excavated a Hellenistic sanctuary at Torboluk in present-day Tajikistan, which is one of the few well-researched Hellenistic sites and thus an important reference points in Hellenistic Bactria. She's worked on the votives from an extremely important temple, the Temple of the Oxus, Takhti Sangin, also in Tajikistan, and her work has been instrumental in making available this incredible archaeological assemblage. So one of the other works that projects that I should mention is the first systematic study of bronze and marble statues from a site, Kali Chandar in Khuzestan, better known as Shami. So the project that she's working on presently as a visiting research scholar at the Institute for the Study of the Ancient World at New York University takes as a starting point a relief face from Denavar in Iran. So this is not just an archaeological project, it's also a work of historiography looking at the collection history of the object. So without further ado, Dr. Lindström.
And I just forgot to mention that we would like to thank the Classics Department for co-sponsoring the program. So thank you.
Yeah. And thank you very much for having me here. Thank you to Raj and Matt to invite me, and the Classics program too. So I am especially happy to speak here today because so my work, as Matt mentioned, was already a long time ago related to Matt's work in a way, but now I feel we are coming even closer with this study on the Denavar vase and the Denavar Satyrs. So here you can see one of the very rare pictures in the background of the site of Denavar in present-day Iran in the province of Kermanshah. The vase, a large marble vase like this, which I reconstructed from fragments, of which you see 3 here. I hope that I can come to the 20th century collections, which I announced here, but I'm afraid that might not happen, so let's see how it goes. So my interest in the Greek art of Hellenistic of the Hellenistic East, including Bactria, arose from my training in classical archaeology, so Greek and Roman, and with this backpack I went to Bactria, and as Matt mentioned, I undertook studies of the objects from the Oxus temple, including several large sculptures. They are not life-size, but more than half life-size. So, and this is, I show here just two of these sculptural fragments made of clay and coated with stucco and unpainted. So that's a local way to produce sculptures. So, but from the Oxus temple there are far more. So we have a relative broad or big, relatively many sculptures, Greek style sculptures from Bactria. And with that, I traveled a little bit back to the west to see what we have in Iran for Greek style art. So I undertook some studies on the Kalichandar bronzes, so from a site in today Khuzestan, and so there was found in the 1930s a large cage of bronze statues, mostly in fragments, and I undertook a project on this, so I wanted to finish this, but then 2020 and 21 happened, and I was not able to do my detailed objects studies of the sculptures in the Tehran National Museum. What I wanted to do is some technological studies, and so I wanted really to work with the originals, but that was not possible. And so I thought, what can I do now? So I was frustrated, and out of this frustration I had a broader look into Greek art, Greek style art in the Hellenistic East and now in Persia. And I mapped here the sites where we find Hellenistic or Greek style sculpture. It looks like it's a lot, all these dots, but actually it's not. So you can see the distance I cover with this map. So it's nearly the distance from New York to Los Angeles, and seeing this, it's not a lot of sculptural art. And you see here some examples made of marble, and it's possible that they were just imported. So the dating of these objects is not very easy. So after the Hellenistic period, dating is not very easy because every artist incorporated designs and styles from previous periods. So, however, so the sculpture is relatively rare, and it's traditionally dated to the Seleucid period, which is a time frame given here. And just following the thinking that Greek style is Greek period. Then I met in this context. I met the Denavar Satyrs, which have since become my travel companions and my buddies. And so these are 9 fragments of a large stone bowl. And they show each a head of a satyr. And they are said to come from Denavar, which is a valley or a site not so far away from Bizutun, here in Kermanshah province. And so obviously the vase to which the fragments belong, was found intact by the locals, but then it was cut into pieces to sell every piece separately on the arts market. And it was found and directly fragmented or cut into pieces in around 1914 in connection to or at the same time when the First World War started. And just to give you an idea of what satyrs are, so satyrs are male nature spirits and companions of the Greek god Dionysus, the wine of theater, and the god of theater and wine drinking. And the characteristic features of these beings is a tail of a horse or donkey, pointed ears, mane-like hair, and a wild beard, a snub nose, and they are usually depicted naked. And if they are clad, they are they have an animal skin like here wrapped around the shoulder. So here, actually here this is cut, and I think it's because of the beamer position. So here is another satyr, and one of my satyrs is missing here. Yeah, maybe we can fix it. So here you see that they are strolling around the woods together with Dionysus, always happy to have a drink, and ready for sex also. So these are really Greek nature or mythological beings, and some of you may identify this style, this naturalistic style, also as Greek style, so the naturalistic rendering of the human body. What I will show you today is starting from the first accurate reconstruction of the vase, which is unfortunately not fully visible. It's this reconstruction I did in the last several months, from that reconstruction it's possible to conclude to come to the dating of the object, not as previously thought to the Seleucid period, but to the Parthian period, which is later, and what I think exactly at the first,
I was suggested to try to fix that on your
that
computer.
would be great.
Take a quick break.
Can we move this just a little bit?
So here everything is correct.
Just enlarge the image.
Matt, do you remember what fixed it on your presentation?
He's doing it.
Okay, cool.
I think just move this, maybe stand on the stool, and then
Sure.
is it here?
No, not yet. Maybe.
So now it's.
Okay, do you want it?
Sure.
Sorry, I just remember that being the fix last time. We'll be fine. He's an athletic guy.
Hi.
You know how I'm.
How are you?
Good.
خودت نمیتونی تکونش بدی یه خورده اینوریش
No, it's
Loses focus.
still touching.
آقا سر اینو بگیر یه خورده اینور ببینید تکونش بدی
I don't think that's the case.
حال اونجا نیست نمیشه
But I would prefer if you don't see my notes.
Echo, standby, volume, no input. What's keystone? Press that. Just. Maybe that does something. Am I helping? What? I know. I'm fixing it.
Yes.
Okay. One more? One less?
It was on 0.
No.
No. Area, you almost have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go back to the, and then click on go on the screen of the
Here?
key. That was fine.
The
Yes.
left
No,
one?
oh,
This one.
Is that?
Oh?
Let's see.
Well,
Yeah.
I
It
did.
looks
That's
like-
it.
Yeah.
Let me go back.
You just need the art historian.
Yeah.
You might have it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah. So, still the introduction, yeah? So, I will
Matt.
offer you the first reconstruction of the bowl. So, a large bowl made of stone. I will come to the art history of this design, and also which gives also a dating to the Parthian period. And it also hints to the function of the bowl as a furnishing of a local prince residence. I will come back to the design and show how it is drawing on Hellenistic, Greek traditions, but also on Roman and local Parthian or local Persian traditions. And I will show you that this specific bowl can be set in a very, very specific historical context in the 1st century. So the satyr heads, the fragments, are now spread around the globe. That they belong together was not, however, it was recognized by famous scholars or some scholars, and they identified these objects already as belonging together. However, they were not clear how many of the objects exist, of the fragments exist, so they give different numbers of the pieces, and they were not sure, were not clear if it was an altar or a vase, and but they agreed in the Hellenistic, and that by this they meant the Seleucid period dating, so the Seleucid period before the region was conquered by the Parthians. So they agreed in this, and some of them also had an idea about the functional context within a sanctuary of Dionysus, because the beings are connected to Dionysus, and so they thought this should be a furnishing of a sanctuary. However, so in my forthcoming work, I identified a 9th object, and so now we have 9 fragments of originally 10. One is smashed during the cutting of the vase. They belong to just one stone vase. Earlier on, there was believed that it's maybe from 2 stone vases. They are clearly from the Parthian period, so the Achaemenid period, and specifically I think from the 1st century BCE, and they belonged once to a palace and or a residence of a local ruler. So why are they are belonging together? They have the same dimensions. So the heads are about 18 centimeter high, so not life size, but slightly smaller. They are all made of a gray limestone, which is probably a local limestone from the Bizetoun Massif, so the mountains around there. So this stone says that these are clearly made in the region and not imported from Greece. So by style you could think of maybe from Greece, but the stone says no, they are locally produced. What's also interesting that all show traces of a white coating, and I will come back to this later. This is also important for my argument. So I will now show you how I did a little bit of juggling around of the fragments, how this gave me an idea of the order, how these heads decorated the two sides of the bowl, and this leads to the reconstruction. So for the reconstruction, the Tehran fragments, 3 fragments which are today in Tehran National Museum, they are of very big importance because they are larger than the others, and they still have rests of the lower frieze. So the other heads are really more or less cut out around the contour of the head, but these are obviously found maybe later or not, maybe brought to the antiquities trade, and so they are left as they are. And they also show the profile of the vase, of the vessel, so that's important for the reconstruction. I wanted to point out the pointed ears of the satyrs, and also here we have a acanthus frieze. And what I wanted to say with the satyrs, that if they are clad, they have animal hides around their neck. So this animal skin, which you can see here, is also very fitting to the creatures. Yeah. And these are the 2 others at Tehran, and here you see the lion or panther head here, the nose turning down, one eye, the second eye is not visible. So, and here the rest of the mane here. So, and so we have also one satyr without a beard, so a young satyr. And these both fragments also preserve the curls of a 10th head, which is obviously smashed as they wanted to cut the fragment. So it's lost, but this S-shaped curls are very important. And so you can reconstruct a head here, and with that you get the spacing of the heads. And and then you can do some calculations. If there are 10 heads and they are each 22 centimeters, you come to a circumference of the bowl of around 2 meter 20, and then to a diameter of 70 centimeters. So that's important for the calculation. So these are the basal fragments, and you see here a head with these S-shaped curls. From this side of the vessel, this head is preserved. And then there are 2 fragments also in the US, in Baltimore, and 1 fragment in a private collection in Vienna, and 1 fragment in once in a private collection in between Berlin and Potsdam, and it's unfortunately today it's lost. So the objects are housed in different museums, and that was why they were photographed in different perspectives and lighting and so on. And so nobody before me noticed that they form actually pairs. So of similar, pairs of similar satyrs. And so here you have one with an ivy wreath here in his hair, one with a bald upper head, and one with a headscarf. but the other one is lost, yeah, the one with the S-shaped curls. You have but just one young satyr and three with a wild mane. So if we think of how to design with this vase, you would like to have somehow a parallel or symmetric composition. And then you would put this the head of the panther in the middle, yeah? And then we have here the pairs, the ones which form pairs, and then just the one with the fifth head is different. So on the one side was shown the young satyr, and on the other the one with a wild mane. So this is one side. Here reconstructed, the one with the S-shaped curls, and together, and you can see in the middle is a face of the lion, and the lion skin is depicted like being wrapped around the belly of the vessel, yeah? And so you have in the middle the head hanging down. Then you have the paws, two paws here, hanging down. Then you have another part of the hide, and then you have the two paws, hind paws, put together. So two hides wrapped around the vessel, shown like wrapped around the vessel. And if we put all this together with a profile of the vessel, then we get something like this, and we reconstruct it like this. So this is the reconstruction of the vessel. It's already a great achievement, but it goes further. So I wanted to put the vessel into its ancient art historical and functional and historical context. And to do this now is, I dig a little bit deeper. I will tell you something about the mask frieze as a motif. So several masks put in a row together. So this motif in East and West. This will also already give us some hints to the design and the prototypes. I will tell you something about Roman sculptural vases, later called marble vases by me, because sculptural is too complicated for my tongue. And then I will tell you something about the historical setting, the Roman Parthian relations in the first century, which is a period of constant conflict, but also of contact. So the mask frieze in East and West. The mask frieze is not a very common motif in ancient art. So until the Roman period, then it became common, but before the Roman period, it is not very common, and you see here the sites where objects were found with this motif. So it's also spread half around the globe. The motif obviously made its appearance in Lydia, and we have there a pair of silver bowls. And these silver bowls, they are also called carinated bowl or Achaemenid cup. So these often carry these lobes on their belly, But in this case, in these two cases, the lobes are turned into human faces. So that is was a very clever design idea. And from there on, the motif made its way. And what's also important to know is that so we know from literature that these cups came in pairs. So they were very common gifts or ilra from one rich person to the other, but you were not supposed to give just one bowl, so you gave them as pairs. And so then we have some here, I guess I have a higher resolution, yeah. So we have there up some male heads close to the ridge with a pointed beard. The other heads are Gorgomedusa heads, but then we have at Koloba from Crimea a large golden bowl or fiale with these male heads around the rim. Something similar but clearly satyr heads comes from, it was supposedly produced in Alexandria, this large cup, and here you can see that the heads are really satyrs with pointed animal ears and the snub nose, so you can clearly identify them. And you see here also some of these lobes I talked earlier on. So then we have a silver bowl, which may come from Bactria, from the 3rd or 2nd century, and we cannot identify the heads, but so we see that there should be these lobes. The artist put the frontal heads. Something similar comes from Nisa, the capital of the Parthian kings, and so we have there the large group of writer made from the tusk of elephants, so they are large like this, and in the upper zone some of them carry in their upper zone a frieze of frontal heads. So these heads are not clearly identifiable, so they seem not to be satyrs or mythological beings. From there I jump to the Roman period and also to the north of the Roman Empire, to the Hildesheim treasure, which is located in Germany, and we have something very similar to our bowl. We have, and you can see it here, we have these heads of satyrs put together into a frieze. Okay, here we have them turned into profile, but what is very comparable to our vase is this animal skin, yeah? So you see the face of the panther or lion turned down, and then you see the animal side hide from the inner side. That's not depicted at the Denavar vase. We have just the outer side of the hide. And then we come to Hadrian's villa, the Emperor Hadrian's villa at Tivoli, not so far away from Rome, and there were found in the end of the 18th century, there were found two large marble vessels which have a very similar depiction to our vase. So they were once very, very famous and also included into Piranesi's book of the famous antiquities from Rome area. And so this is from Piranesi, and this is how they look today. So one is the Warwick vase, named after Warwick Castle, where it was formerly, and it's now today at Glasgow. And I want you to look at the size. So the diameter is nearly 2 meters. They are huge, yeah. And the Lante vase with frontal heads of satyrs. So something very similar. And if you think about these large marble vases, then you see that it has something to do with our vase. Because if you compare it to a normal size of a human being like me, then it's an oversize. Yeah, it's nothing what you can carry in your hand. It's very big and also too heavy. It's made of stone, too heavy to take it in your hand or so. And I want you to remember again that our vase has a white coating, so that's also connected to the marble vases, which are also white. So that is a whole group of these decorative marble vessels in Rome and the surroundings. So it's a very large group. It starts in around 100 BCE and it runs into the 2nd century CE. Large group, I can't show all the examples here. These are just a few. On the right you can see the Lante vase, previously mentioned. Then you see one of the most famous vases, a Tolonia vase, which is gigantic. So it's the largest of these vases. And here is a Borghese vase. So most of them are designed in the shape of craters, which are used to which were used usually to mix drinks, so obviously in this oversized size they were not used for drinking. And then we have a Rhyton-shaped fountain, which can be assigned to this group of objects too. And so I've recently seen this picture in Matt's presentation at New York. So here comes a point where our research connects. So it's also belonging to this group of objects. These objects with their shapes derived from banquet tableware, made of precious metal, but just a shape is derived from it. These tableware is transformed in terms of dimensions, so from small, manageable size to oversize, and in material from metal to stone, and also in context, from banquet ware to furnishings of prestigious villa and garden settings. So, and we have an idea of how these vessels were put into the gardens, because we have the Roman wall paintings, and so you can see here other works of these decorative arts, and here a fountain made of marble, not decorated in this case. And so here it's a crater, and it's here used to as a planting vase. So these group of objects, they serve to decorate villas and create a bucolic atmosphere, a leisure atmosphere. So nothing directly connected to Dionysus, but to the leisure world of Dionysus. And if we can keep this in mind, and we see that the vase from Denavar is also a monumental stone vase, then we can conclude, as I think, that it also served at where it was found as a prestigious furnishing of the local prince or ruler. So that's something very strange, and I have to point out that it's unique. Yeah, so we have nothing similar like this in the whole East. Yeah, so it's the only artifact like this, and I think we can put it in the same, context. So to serve as a, good point in the garden to have some educated, chats and say, oh, I know about all this. Yeah. However, so it seems, or now I want to discuss if the Denavar vase, which is so similar to the Warwick vase and the Lante vase, could be just a copy of these pieces, some elements mixed differently, but if it could be a copy and also be made in the 2nd century CE. So I think not, and I hope that you will follow me on this path. So indeed, the Lante vase, for example, is very similar in design to the Denavar vase. So I want you to have a look at the upper side. The arrangement of the Lante vase is clear. We have on the right a young satyr, then we have the one with a veiled head, and we have one with a bald forehead and the one with a wild mane. And the Denavar vase, we have exactly the same. So that's really, crazy in a way. So we have a young satyr, then we have the one with a veiled head, and so on. But so the up to here, because the Denavar vase has no handles, and so the artist decided to cover each side with 5 heads. So he introduced another head. So there is a difference in design. It's related, but not directly from the Lante vase copied. And also we have at the Denavar vase the lion skin, which we have also at the Warwick vase. So I divided the elements here of the decoration, and so we have the frontal heads at the Denavar vase, the panther or lion skin, and then we have the acanthus leaf frieze. At the Lante vase we have just the frontal heads, and at the Warwick vase we don't have the frontal heads but the lion skin. So it's different. And what I think happened is that they all copy from a lost pair of precious metal bowls made by a famous Hellenistic artist. And we know that there were some, not world-known, but very well-known silversmiths, and that their designs were still known centuries after they died. So I think what happened, either through drawings or through plaster casts, this design was known to the Denavar master, and he combined the elements in his way, and also to the silversmiths of the Hildesheim College, who took the heads from just one vase, and so we don't know how these elements, leaf frieze and the lion skin were arranged on these, but I think they were. There was a pair of the vessels, and the design was very informative for later designs. And so the masters, or the master of the Warwick and the Lanta vase, had a different approach to this. So all are somehow the same but different. And I think that so the master of the Denavar was working much a long time before the Hadrian's villa vases. So they are around 200 years apart, I would think, although they look very similar. So I think this also because it fits very well, the Denavar vase fits very well into something which happened in the 1st century BCE, and which, okay, so I come to this later, but so here I wanted to show that, so the design, I want to remind you that the design was adjusted to a Achaemenid carinated shape, so no handles, so there were handles on the Roman, silver, or on the Roman metalware, but also on the gigantic marbleware or marble vessels, but no handles on the Achaemenid carinated bowls. And I think that the artist drew on the Persian prototypes in terms of the form of the vessel. And so we have something happening in the 1st century which is really interesting. So we have, in the 1st century we have this period of constant wars between Rome and Parthia. They became very close to each other, so there was a lot of conflict, but we have also a lot of contact, and we have also something which was called by Jake Nabel, who just published a book on it. It was called earlier by him as hostage diplomacy. So, and now he characterizes this form of contact. So the Parthians had, or Parthian archaeologists, they were kept as hostages in Rome, so the Romans perceived them as hostages. But for the, as Jake Nabel showed, for the Parthians, it was more that they sent their sons to the Roman nobles to be kept there as foster childs. So that's what he means with misunderstanding. So that, the same people were understood in different ways in this both spheres. And so, be it as it may be, so there was this contact, and people from Parthia living for a specific time in Rome and coming back. We know it through textual sources, but we can imagine also, Romans being kept in, or living in Parthia and then coming back. And so we have in this atmosphere of contact and fascination for the counterpart, or for the enemy, there was something like Persianism in Rome, so that they had a Persian fashion, and there were gardens which were called Persian gardens, and there was a fountain made in the shape of a specific Persian form. And so we have this in Rome, and in Parthian, in today's southwest Iran, we have something like a Romanism. So that somebody, a local ruler, wanted to have, furnished his residence in a Roman way. So this is, I think, very fascinating. And to conclude, I would underline what I think happened. So we have a local prince. We have the context of the Roman and Parthian conflict and contact in the 1st century. We have a sculptor working in a local stone, and he drew on in the form of monumentalizing a drinking vessel in stone. He drew on Roman prototypes, but with his specific design on how to put the heads in a row, he drew on a Hellenistic model. So it was, while the local prince was very well acquainted with the Roman ways of elite presentation, the sculptor was very well acquainted to Hellenistic models, prototypes, to the Greek style, how to cut in Greek style the stone. And so he was also very inventive, because he adjusted the model to the vessel in the Achaemenid shape. So that's in my conclusion, and so we can have a look at the time. So it's okay?
Yes.
Okay, then it's finished, and so I know that I gave in the title, I advertised that I would tell something about the 20th century fate of the fragments, but I have no time for this. I want to have you a look in my forthcoming book about this, so it's not written yet, but I will. Thank you.